Yeah. You know what it is. Everything I do it big. Or, oh, mama, I'm in fear for my life from the long arm of the law. What are they?
Well, one is Styx and one is Wiz Khalifa, but I don't understand how Styx has anything to do with the Steelers.
They are the most popular songs played at Pittsburgh Steelers games. Did you know this?
Well,
you know
Wiz
of
Khalifa,
this.
for sure. But Styx, why Styx?
They played Renegade. They started doing it in the 70s, but more recently in like the late 90s, early 2000s. And there have been pivotal moments in Steelers games where they've been down like 27-3 or something like that. They've played this song, and the Steelers have come back and won. Yeah.
No way.
You know what it is. We are doing Pittsburgh, if you haven't figured it out. I am so psyched. Let's roll.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Hey listeners, ever wonder what it would be like to blow up your comfort zone at the tender age of 50? Well, we did just that. When our last kid went off to college, we hit the road in search of a new hometown. Now we bounce from city to city and bring you along for the ride. This is the Skiptown All-Stars podcast.
What's up, All-Stars? Welcome back to another episode of Skiptown, the Skiptown All-Stars travel podcast. How you doing, Trixie?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm excellent. I'm super, super psyched, as I already said, to do this episode.
I know. This was like your city. I kept saying, why are we doing this? And you're like, because I want to go. This is going to be his 1 hour. So I'm going to let him roll. I'm just going to let him roll.
You're going to let me talk?
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh, that's so sweet of you. We have producer Phil with us here today. How are you, producer Phil?
What's going on? Pittsburgh is a city that I would like to actually visit. Never been. Heard it's got some pretty cool food.
They do.
Heard it's got really good subs.
They let black people live there too.
A lot of black people live there.
Absolutely.
So I don't know if I'm scared or if I'm happy. There's got to be it's a happy medium.
Want to go to a game, Phil? I'm ready and willing.
All right.
We're going to do this. But before we get too far into Western Pennsylvania, we want to remind you to please like, subscribe, and follow us wherever you're finding us. If it's on YouTube, we would love it if you subscribe to our channel. We also appreciate ratings, right, on Spotify and reviews on Apple Podcasts. It all goes into the pot and adds up to one big Skiptown fantasy. I don't know where I'm going with this. So
I'm going to let you keep going. I'm just going to let you keep going.
This really is my episode.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh, I've already backed myself into a corner.
Well, you go right ahead. The one thing I do want to say is what a couple listeners have done, which is so sweet, is they've like randomly shared us on their stories. Like I'll get a notification on Instagram that Skiptown All-Stars was in someone's story. It's so awesome. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. That is really nice.
What's the Insta handle?
Skiptown All-Stars Travel Podcast.
Okay. So you can find us there for all of our outside the episodes shenanigans.
Yeah.
There's some rumbling going on. Do you hear that?
It's probably Arthur.
Arthur the ghost?
Yeah.
The studio has a
He
ghost.
was pretty active yesterday.
Oh, he was?
On camera. I'll show you later, but
No way.
yeah.
Yeah, there's something going on. What's behind this wall?
Nothing.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You don't hear the banging because you have your headphones on.
I can hear it.
You could hear it in our mics, I'm sure.
Yeah. I can hear it.
It was pretty loud.
There's nobody's here.
I thought it was just somebody like had one of those trash rollers or something like that.
No, we don't have a hallway back here. That was where Auntie Anne's was and stuff. It's not there no more.
Auntie M's is closed?
Yeah, they closed it.
He told me.
So sad. We had that like for our Super Bowl party or whatever.
Well, and I would just go get the pigs in a blanket randomly because it was so good, like occasionally.
You were sneaking pigs in a blanket behind our back.
Yeah, it was really good. I can't believe that they don't have them now.
That is scandalous.
I know. What am I going to eat now?
Okay. So we have ghosts, we have you subscribing to us, and we have Pittsburgh. Let's get back into this. Okay, so I'm just going to say out of the gate, everybody who knows the show and knows me knows I grew up in northeastern Ohio. And when I fly home to Pittsburgh because it's closer to my side of Ohio than even Cleveland or any of the other airports. And Pittsburgh, in my eyes, has always been the big steel big brother to the Youngstown area. Plenty of strangely enough, not Browns fans, but lots of Steelers fans working in the steel mills in Ohio. There are Browns fans, apologies, but we're not really talking about Cleveland right now. It is so sort of baked into the culture there. It's a rough and tumble environment where I grew up. Pittsburgh is like that, or was like that in the 70s at least, on steroids, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's a tough town.
It's a tough town.
Yeah, you kind of feel that.
You will get punched in the mouth in Pittsburgh if you're not behaving yourself. Kind of like Chicago without polo shirts.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That is a very good analogy.
A very, very gritty brand, tough, quality, salt of the earth kind of people.
Just don't mess with them.
Just don't mess with Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
That should be a T-shirt.
Don't mess with Pittsburgh.
Why not? I don't know. It's stupid. Anyway.
It's kind of hard to say. Don't mess with Pittsburgh.
Don't mess with Pittsburgh.
That's like
it's too many S's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep going.
All right, so we're not going to do that. So anyway, in the middle of our travels up to the northern part of the United States this year, I decided that we were going to break off at some point and do Pittsburgh. I missed it. Like, I felt like it was a missed opportunity last year when we went to Ohio.
I didn't. No.
You didn't?
No.
You had no desire to go to Pittsburgh?
Only to see my friend Mel, but I had no desire to go to Pittsburgh.
You knew already? You hadn't even seen Pittsburgh.
It's a city. I know what cities look like. Yeah, but then
It is a city.
People kept telling you,
don't sleep on Pittsburgh.
And I had heard that from you several times. I'm like, I think we could sleep on Pittsburgh.
So we left the New England area, and we were actually, I did feel bad for Denise the minute we got there, because it was her leg to drive as we got to the city. And of course we arrived right in rush hour.
It's a city. There's always rush hour. It's a city. It
wasn't like that all the time, but it was especially bad that day. It was raining, and we had to go through the Fort Pitt Tunnel on the bridge. It's okay. If you don't like bridges, I'll just say right out of the gate, Pittsburgh's not for you.
Okay.
If you can't handle some bridges, there are a lot of bridges. I forget how many, 6, 7, something like that we crossed at different points. And we got to our hotel after an exhausting drive for you. A lot of traffic, bumper to bumper, going through the tunnel to cross the river, because of course I booked the hotel. I wanted it to be a little out of the city so we didn't have to valet. And
okay, you're just being nice right now.
We had a free parking lot.
You're being nice right now.
What?
Because the truth is I made you book this hotel out of the city because I was really concerned. When we travel, we have a lot of stuff with us, and especially when we're coming toward the end of a trip, we've accumulated more things.
So we buy too many things as we travel around.
It is true. And so what happens is that we kind of look like the Beverly Hillbillies pulling up to a nice hotel, and the valet guy opens the door, and I'm not lying when I say things fall out. So I just don't want that because it's embarrassing. Like, it's literally, we look white trash. And so I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to go into a hotel and pull up and all that crap come out. So can we go on the outskirts of the city, like a suburb where there's a parking lot?
And we can unload ourselves
yes,
and nobody's looking at us.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's your MO.
You did not want to do that. And I
did
made you
not
do
want
that.
to do that.
I know. And then what happened? I mean, just be honest. What happened?
I mean, we went to a Holiday Inn Express. We really praised the Holiday Inn Express in Perry, Georgia.
Oh, it was amazing.
Way back in that episode.
It was like a Four Seasons.
This Holiday Inn Express ruined Holiday Inn Expresses for us, I think.
I think it did too.
It was dirty. It was run down. But more importantly, the people going in and out of this particular...
Phil, it goes to Phil's point. The people. He has said it so many times. The people in a hotel, if he sees the people, the clientele isn't good, he bounces.
Yeah. Phil, we got out to unload all of our stuff.
Oh, wait, I like this game. Let me describe who's there.
Okay.
All right. So
well, let me give you one detail.
All right.
Fast food bags and old sweatshirts in the parking lot.
Like not on people.
Like not on people, and no homeless folks around. So legit hotel tenants or guests.
All right, Phil, go.
All right. Nobody has on an actual t-shirt. They're all wife beaters.
We saw a few of those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you remember back in the day when you had those chains on your jeans? You know what I'm talking about? Like connected like your wallet.
Like the chain wallet.
Yep, those.
There were a couple bikers.
No, they don't have to be bikers.
Nope.
They can just wear the chain from their.
There was some of that. I would say there was some of that.
All right. Did you see? Okay, this is only an exclusive for people who are watching this podcast. Did a lot of people do this?
Yes, Phil.
I bet there were a couple in the lobby.
Yes. The answer is yes.
He's moving his jaw back and forth.
And that is a trait of someone who does methamphetamines.
Yes.
I would say yes, Phil.
Meth mouth. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, how many old Ford Tauruses did you see? Oh my
gosh, the cars. I mean, and I'm kind of used to that because I come from that area. So rust buckets are sort of a thing, especially when you're dealing with, folks on low income or whatever and living in a winter environment where the cars are just rotting more and more every single year. There were a couple of trunks held down with bungee cords.
Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. And mismatched tires. One was on a donut, that kind of stuff. So, but the strange thing was the price point for this hotel was the same price point as anywhere else in the city. So we're actually paying a decent amount of money. And the whole reason we booked it was because
it was like $200 a night.
Yeah, but we could get a suite. So I can continue. Like I think we rolled up on a Thursday or something like that. So I needed Thursday and Friday to be able to do my job. So I was like, well, a suite is perfect because I can set up on one side when Denise taps out at some point and wants to go in the bed and do her thing or whatever. And so there's a separate door, a separate room. I was like, this is awesome. $200, that's a pretty good rate. We certainly paid, I don't know, what we pay for that really nice Residence Inn when we were in Sedona, Arizona.
It was the same price,
$220 a night or something like that,
it was the same price. And
we got to this place, Phil. I mean, this Holiday Inn Express, first off, it's in Green Tree. There's nothing in this area called Green Tree. There are some houses, and I think there's like a wine store or something like that. There's just nothing. There was a mall at one point, but that mall is gone. They've bulldozed it. It's just a parking lot now. So at the one end of the street where the Holiday Inn is, there's this massive parking lot and a very small, like Publix or Kroger or whatever, they have what's called Giant Eagle in the area where I grew up. And so there was one ancient Giant Eagle there that we went to buy groceries at. It had a parking lot the size of like 4 football fields because of this mall that used to be there. It was the weirdest thing. It was like some Mad Max asphalt stuff just to get to the front door of the hotel or of the grocery store.
When we pulled in, I remember the GPS was showing the hotel like that it was across a street and down the road and across the street. And I kept saying, please let it be the wrong Holiday Inn because when we pulled in, there was open garbage in the parking lot. Like somebody, I think that they just literally unloaded their car in the parking lot. So when we pulled in, I'm like, oh no, this can't be it. And I even said to you, I think we're at the wrong one. You're like, no, we're at the right one. And I'm like, I don't think so. The GPS, you're like, no, I'm going to get out and check us in. I'm like, oh, no, don't.
It should have been our first clue. Well, it was our second clue because the garbage was our first clue. But the second clue should have been there's some sort of negative power nexus here that throws the GPS off and sends the signal like down the road at Hell's Gate or something like that. I don't know.
I even said to him at one point, like the second day we were there, I said, I'm going to go tell the receptionist about the trash in the parking lot. And he looked at me and he goes, why?
Which pile? It was nuts. So
was the dumpster overflowing too?
No.
That's a tell as well. No?
That is a good sign, Phil, but there was no dumpster to be had.
Yeah, I think that's why people were just throwing it.
Well, that's why I was in the parking lot.
But it was messed up because it's like, why throw it in the hotel parking lot when right down the street there's this massive parking lot? Go throw it there.
Yeah.
So, to the people who were at the Holiday Inn Express in Green Tree, Pennsylvania, that particular weekend, you were pigs. You're pigs.
Mm-hmm. They're gross.
It was disgusting. Who throws their garbage out in a hotel parking lot? It's nuts. So, the traffic. The hotel. So far, we're 0 for 2.
It wasn't a good greeting.
It was not.
It wasn't a good like. Hello, welcome to Pittsburgh.
No, but the weather was bad. Let's not leave.
Yeah, it was dreary and rainy.
How was the receptionist though? Was it old blonde lady?
Yeah.
Yeah,
One?
it was an old blonde lady.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you nailed this. You actually nailed this, Phil.
Now that I think about it, there was a guy in line right in front of me, and she was spending an inordinate amount of time trying to like get him into his room and get his reservation handled. And I mean, I must have been standing there for 8 minutes or something like that. And finally, he says to her, "Oh, I didn't pre-book it. I need my room now. Like I'm booking now." And she's like, "Why didn't you tell me that?" And that told me right there the level of clientele. So here I am like thinking this lady's slow. This is going to take forever. And I'm blaming her basically. And here it's this doofus that doesn't know how to check into a hotel. It's like, bro, if you need a room, you ask for vacancy and you say, yes, I'll take that room. The end. Messed up.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
You were sitting in the car with all of our stuff that
Just
whole time.
hoping that she was going to say we don't have a reservation for you.
Yeah.
Did you have a coffee in your hand?
No, I don't drink coffee.
Oh, that's right. You drink the coffee.
Yeah.
I drink a lot of coffee.
Yeah.
But no, she did not. So we settled in that first night. There wasn't a lot of time left. It got dark right away. We figured out food. I don't know.
Yeah.
Chronologically what happened. But the next morning I got up and I decided I was going to get after it and I was going to go into Pittsburgh. I got to see the stadium where the Steelers play, Heinz Field. There's also obviously there's the arena where the Penguins play, the hockey, the NHL hockey team, Pittsburgh Penguins. And of course the stadium where the Pittsburgh Pirates play. I'm not a
PNC?
Pirates. What's that?
PNC Field, I think.
PNC, yeah.
So it's like a sports lover's paradise.
It really is.
They don't have a basketball team though. It's the only thing they're missing. Do they have a soccer team?
I don't think they
Okay.
have. I don't think.
But
they
you've
have
got like baseball, football, and hockey. Oh, okay. What more? Yeah,
It's like three tough guy sports.
it is. Are they near each other?
Yeah, they're all like right outside. So when you cross the river, they're all like. There's the downtown. So I mean, look, on a beautiful day, which we didn't really get while we were there, it was raining the whole time. But on a beautiful day, I mean, coming across that bridge and seeing the cityscape of Pittsburgh,
It is pretty.
It must be pretty spectacular.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty through the cloudy day.
Yeah. And then the stadiums are sort of, if you're heading into the city, the stadiums where we were coming from in Green Tree, they're off to your left and you can see all those in all their glory and everything. It was cool. It was really, I was happy to be there. Can't wait to go back in the fall when there's an actual game happening. I don't know if I told you that or not, but
No, but it's okay.
you sprung the Utah trip on me, so your turn.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. All right.
But that's it. I did check out some neighborhoods that first morning.
We actually went through some neighborhoods as well. I mean, while we
we did.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of them
Together,
though,
together we did.
Actually, now that I remember right, the first morning it had cleared up a little bit, and you and I went to a place called Mount Lebanon.
Yes.
And we went to a place called Mediterra Cafe, which was pretty good.
Yeah.
Good food and everything. And it had a nice little, tiny little walkable, a couple blocks
Yeah,
kind of
it was
thing.
small.
Yeah.
But it was a cute little area. And the one thing that I noticed right away just driving through Pittsburgh, and I know, you did actually some house hunting, like neighborhoods, prices, stuff like that. Pittsburgh is kind of exactly how I thought it would be. The movies I've seen, the magazines I've read, and any kind of videos or anything like that I've seen, it's very much a blue collar kind of town.
Mindset.
Yes, and a mindset. And the one thing I noticed was that even when you're going through the different neighborhoods, and like neighborhoods outside of a city, this is very common where you will easily drive from one neighborhood to the next. And you can kind of tell the difference in the neighborhoods by how the houses look, how the cars in the driveway. It wasn't that different, though, in the different neighborhoods.
No. Wasn't.
The only difference I noticed, honestly, were that, when you were going through more of like a blue collar neighborhood, the houses were a little bit smaller and the cars in the driveway were like pickup trucks and minivans. Sure. And then when you went to like a neighborhood that was a little bit nicer, the only way you could tell it was nicer was that the houses were a little bit bigger and the cars weren't minivans, they were SUVs.
And there was a lot more brick.
Yes.
A lot more brick in the nicer neighborhoods.
Yeah. But it was like, I don't know, like to me it was just all kind of like, it just felt like a city. It was a lot of hustle and bustle.
Yeah.
Even like the area like Mount Lebanon where we were, where they had a cute little downtown, it still felt very like, we got to go. You know what I mean? It isn't like, let's just chill. It wasn't that kind of, it was a city feel. And you felt it, you saw it. People acted very city.
Right. So we're not bearing the lead here anymore than we need to in telling you that Denise could not live there. And she knew that right as soon as we hit the traffic. Like the minute we got there, she was like, this is a city. Why are we in the city? We skipped Boston for this.
I know we did. We did. Because I didn't. Okay, so we
You were a little upset.
I was. Because we talked about going to Boston and I said, well, if we're going to do Boston, let's just do a trip, like a long weekend. Like, I know I'll never live in Boston. I have no desire to live in a city. And I know Boston is expensive. And even the suburbs outside of Boston are expensive. So let's skip Boston. And James was like, great, let's go to Pittsburgh. And I'm like,
I mean,
what?
it was a selfish pick on my part.
It's okay.
I'm
It's
not going
fine.
to lie. It was.
Okay, so you go. You do you, hon.
You do me. I do me. I did me. So there were, though, some good areas. I just want to spell these out for people who
I think all
might
of
be
it was
interested.
nice. It's all kind of all the same is how I felt.
Yeah. Of special note, Squirrel Hill and Shady Side, definitely some more expensive houses on that edge of town. I would say 600 to 900,000, that area.
That's really pricey.
As we were saying, a lot of brick houses. Interesting side note, I don't know if I'm saying it right. I want to say Chatham University, Chatham. Do you remember the coach from Chatham University who came up to me when our oldest daughter was playing lacrosse? I got to actually see the campus because I was in that neighborhood. And she decided she wanted to go to a much bigger school and not even play lacrosse and just have a school with the football team and party and do all that big campus stuff. But it was interesting.
Did it give you the feels?
It was an interesting. I think she did better by going to Boise State.
Okay.
I did. Boise's a great city. Pittsburgh's also a great city, but that particular university, it was really small.
Oh, it would be too small for her.
Yeah. And it was there were apartments around and there's student life. And I mean, there were streets and streets of like Italian restaurants, some bars and all that other stuff. I just feel like if she were there for 4 years, she would have gotten really bored.
Oh.
She would have been crying after the first year saying, bring me home to LA and all that. So,
She made a good choice is what you're saying.
for herself,
Yeah.
I mean, everything she wanted in a school, she's not going to get it there. I mean, it was academics and sports in a small community. It's more suited for like our youngest daughter, Ellie, who goes to Trinity. So it reminded me of a smaller version of that.
Got it.
So a very Western Pennsylvania. So anyway, that was interesting. And then one good area or one great little suburb is actually Oakmont. There's some cool stuff around there. And that's where I went to that. Do you remember the massive bakery I went to?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so everybody, when I posted one picture, I think on Instagram, or maybe you posted a photo on Facebook, I can't remember, but I started getting all these private messages from friends and family saying, you have to go here, you have to go there. So many people said this bakery.
Yeah.
Okay, and you went.
I had never heard of it, but Patrick pointed it out to me.
And then Nicole Johnson pointed it out, and I'm trying to think who else sent me. Another person sent me like,
so you knew about it. I didn't know about it until Patrick texted me.
I didn't know about it till you were there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because you had posted something, I think, or I can't remember again who did it, but she was texting me saying, "Oh, you need to go there," and I'm like, "He's there right now," or "You just came back," or something like that.
He's already brought back a box of.
Yeah. What was the name of the bakery again?
Oakmont Bakery.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, honestly, it's more of an experience. I would not say it's de facto the best bakery I've ever been to. Some of the products there are a little like Dunkin', you know what I mean? Where they're a little like stamped out, like
Got it.
and there's like a little machine pumping these things out. Some of the flavors there felt a little corporate-y, but it was a great place. They do wedding cakes, they do all that. It's just so like the line, it's mayhem inside this place.
Aren't there like 1,000 different kinds of cookies or
There
something
are.
insane?
All the Italian wedding cookies you could ever want, all the varieties, wedding cakes. They had a donut that was like a cheeseburger shaped donut or painted donut or whatever. I got one for our friends. We'll talk about them in a little bit.
I think you need to explain also real quick, like the significance of Italian cookies.
Oh,
Because like Phil probably doesn't know it, and I think a lot of listeners who don't live on the East Coast, they don't understand the significance of Italian wedding cookies.
okay.
That's that powdered cookie.
Oh, no, Phil.
Not a
Some,
powdered cookie.
some, but not all.
It's an experience. It's not a cookie.
It really is. So
So you
growing
get
up,
slapped in the face.
what's that?
So it's an Italian cookie, so you get slapped in
Nope,
the face.
it's not that either.
No, it's
You're gonna.
It's not a derogatory action or anything like that. So growing up in Ohio, close enough to Pittsburgh, obviously a lot of immigrant steel workers, factory workers and all that. So you get your Irish, you get your Italian. I was
Polish.
Polish, a lot of Polish. I was very much in the minority as one of the only Scots in my hometown. And the Italians specifically do this thing where when people get married, where they have a cookie table. Have you ever heard of the cookie table?
No.
The cookie table is more than just a table.
It's an experience,
It
Phil.
is an array, probably,
No, it's not.
half as long as this room and going halfway up the wall. The Italian women get together, the whole community, the whole church or what, a Catholic church.
It could
or
be
whatever.
10 women, Phil.
Yeah. They all agree they're going to make different, like one's making the, like you said, the powder, the snowballs or whatever they call it.
One's making the cannolis.
The little mini cannolis,
Son's making the pizzelles.
little tiramisu type cookies or whatever. And it's just a wall of cookies. So if you go to this wedding, sure, you're going to get wedding cake, but nobody cares about the wedding cake. It's all about the cookie wall.
But it's not on the wall. It's on tables against the wall.
It's a cookie table.
Yeah, it's not on the wall at all. It's like a 20-foot table. I've never.
But they have
It's
tiers.
insanity.
What are those things called where they have different levels? Like
It's
trees.
a
They have
tiered-
cookie tree.
Tiered
Trays.
Thank you. Tiered
trays.
trays. Yes.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, Phil. You've never seen anything like it.
Thousands of cookies,
You have to
Phil.
Google it.
Thousands.
It's called what is it? Italian table? What's it called?
Italian cookie table.
Yeah, Italian cookie table. It's unbelievable. Wedding table. No, wedding cookies? What is it?
All those. Google all those and you'll see it.
I did not know what this was until James clued me in. And I'm from Chicago, so I don't understand why we never had an Italian cookie table. And I looked it up and I was like, oh, and then I went, have I ever been to a wedding that had a cookie table?
I think once.
Okay.
Or maybe a graduation party or something. I'm
Okay.
not sure. But we're not Italian.
I
So
know.
You've seen a cookie table. I don't know I can't say for sure if you've seen an Italian
Like
wedding
a real
cookie
one.
table.
I know. I think I got a faux one.
Yeah. You got a faux one. And so anyway, at Oakmont Bakery, you walk in and there's an entire case section of the store that's just dedicated to those types of cookies.
Italian cookies, yeah.
But that was not going to be before I talk about our food adventure, Patrick also sent me to a place, Lawrenceville.
Okay.
And I had already been there. And this really is like, if you've driven through this area, this is like kind of where the millennials live. It's a little trendy and it's definitely like the brewery type crowd. So vibrant, people jogging over the bridges, lots of restaurants, little bars, little pubs, little breweries.
I'm sure there's
all
a
that.
barber shop there
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a barber shop. There may even be a bra shop.
I'm sure of it.
Yeah. And so Lawrenceville, if you're younger and listening to the show, might be worth a look for you if you're heading to Pittsburgh to move there one
All
day.
right.
So
How
and
far
I think
out of
the
the
houses
city?
were slightly more affordable there. I can't remember, honestly.
Okay, but how far out of the city? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
Lawrenceville?
you. Yeah.
Oh no, it's actually in these are all sections of Pittsburgh
Okay,
that I'm talking about.
all right.
So Pittsburgh, as you said,
Yeah.
it's city, it's vast. And so these are all little areas, little pockets inside the city. So
But when I said outside the city, I know where you were looking.
outside of downtown?
Yes.
Oh, like, I don't know, 10
that's
minutes, 15 minutes,
live 10
depending
minutes.
on traffic.
To live 10 minutes outside of the actual downtown is pretty sweet.
But let's talk about one of the bonuses and one of the things that made going to Pittsburgh somewhat salvageable for you.
Oh, yeah. Seeing Mel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a girlfriend from 4th grade, and
Wow.
we are still friends. Do you have anybody from 4th grade you're still friends with?
Yes, actually. Yeah.
And do you see that person?
We don't live close, but
Okay.
we chat on PlayStation.
Oh, all right. Well, then you've kept in touch as well. So her and I have kept in touch through the years. I mean, on and off. She's an amazing cook.
She is.
No, like gourmet.
We want to do a cooking podcast with her, Phil, and she said no.
Yep, she's a gourmet cook, and she said that she enjoys cooking as a hobby, and if it became a thing, like if she opened up a restaurant or started selling food out of her kitchen, she would no longer enjoy it. I understand it, and
That's
as long
admirable, but
yes,
she's depriving the rest of us. I
Agreed.
think it's kind of selfish.
I agree with you. It is very
I'm
selfish.
being honest.
And then she posts these pictures on Facebook that I'm
yeah.
going to block her.
It's like she's taunting us.
100%. And then her husband has to brag about it also. So then he'll post the same picture on his page. So if
Yeah.
you didn't get enough from her page, he's posting the picture on his
And I'm
page.
friends with them both.
I know. It's terrible.
I kind of don't like them now that we're talking about them.
So I was super excited about seeing her. I've been to her house once before, but you never have.
I never have. And to be clear, it's in Elwood City, right? Probably about an hour?
It is.
Hour outside of Pittsburgh.
Yeah. So it's kind of a drive, but they met us in like right near our hotel, and then we all spent the day in Pittsburgh, and they took us to this fabulous place for lunch. Why don't you talk about that?
Oh my gosh.
It's like a staple.
It is a staple. You walk in, there are all sorts of Pittsburgh legends painted on the wall, caricatures.
Did you know that? I did not know this.
What?
Mr. Rogers was from Pittsburgh.
I did know that.
Did you really know that before you walked in? Like, honestly.
Yes. Everybody
Phil?
knows he's from Pittsburgh.
Oh, really? Let's ask Phil.
Okay.
Did not know.
Thank you.
Do you even know who Phil? Do you even know who
Yes.
Mr. Rogers is?
Yes, I
Because
knew.
he's so young.
Did not know where
Because you saw
he was from.
you saw the
though.
remake, the movie.
No, Tom Hanks one?
Yeah.
No, I knew who Mr. Rogers was. I just didn't know he was from Pittsburgh.
He's from Pittsburgh.
The only person I knew was from Pittsburgh is Andy Warhol.
Andy Warhol.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That's a painter?
Yeah, he's a famous painter.
Terry Bradshaw.
I did not know that.
He's
I
not
would know
originally
that.
from Pittsburgh.
Okay. Who else is from
I
Pittsburgh?
don't believe.
Who else was on that wall? There was some surprise.
I mean, it was
surprises.
mostly Steelers. There were a few surprises.
Was Wiz Khalifa on the wall?
I don't know. Now that you mention it,
He should have been.
He's an icon.
He is an icon.
he should definitely be on the wall
Yeah.
by now. I would think.
Racist place.
I don't know. I took a picture. We're gonna have to put the photo up and let people dissect who's in the photo and who's not.
I guess when Morgan Wallen played, Wiz Khalifa came on stage. Makes sense, right?
Yeah,
I know. You know what? A lot of
Good
people.
time.
A lot of people who knew Wiz Khalifa was.
of course they do.
No, but if you're a country fan, you don't always cross over and know who rappers
But if
are.
you're a Steelers fan, you know.
But if you're a Morgan Wallen fan, you listen to hip hop.
Really?
100%.
Why?
Because Morgan Wallen is a fan of hip hop.
How do you know this?
Some of his producers are hip hop producers.
And you know this how? You're a Morgan Wallen fan?
I am not a Morgan Wallen fan, but he says the N word, so
Oh, you know about him then. Okay. All right. So yeah. So
not in a derogatory way. I'm just saying he says it because he's got a black card.
Oh. Huh. Okay.
What, does he get a pass?
Apparently, people gave him a pass. So,
What the hell?
but yeah, Morgan Wallen fans, they absolutely know who a lot of hip hop people are.
Well, Mel knew who Wiz
Interesting.
Khalifa was, and I was surprised because she isn't really a hip hop fan. But to
You
Phil's
know who's
point,
from Pittsburgh, now that I think about it? Donnie Iris. Do you know Donnie Iris?
no.
He sings a few songs. He sings many songs, but only a few were popular. But he's like one of the biggest classic rock and roll artists
Really?
to come out of Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
He's a local legend. I bet Donnie Iris is on the wall.
Okay. We went from Wiz Khalifa to Donnie Iris.
Yeah.
All right. Keep going.
I don't anybody from Pittsburgh listening right now is like, oh, I can't believe you didn't say Donnie Iris. So now I said it.
Okay. All right. So go ahead. So what was the name of the restaurant we went into that's iconic?
Primanti Bros. Primanti Brothers.
Okay.
It is definitely your blue collar style restaurant that's been sort of turned into I'm not going to say it's a tourist trap because it's
No.
not, because locals go there as well. But their signature sandwiches all have the French fries included on the sandwich. So you order the Reuben and it has French fries on it. Are you a purist? You don't like that idea?
That's such a trash idea.
You think so?
There's a legend. There's a reason behind it.
There is.
Tell him the reason.
The workers would come in with their dirty hands and they would basically just want to eat the sandwich and everything whole so that they could, crush their lunch and then go back to the factories and continue working.
So the reason why I don't think that it's a good idea is because it's all fluff. So don't put my side item in the sandwich. Make my sandwich stacked as possible, and then put my fries on the side.
Did you ordered the Reuben? Was there enough meat along with the fries?
I felt like there was.
You felt like it was fair?
I felt
But
like it
Denise
was
isn't fat. You need to ask a person who likes to eat.
Okay. So we're going to go up this fall, and you're going to tell me what you feel about Pittsburgh.
You're going to do a boys' weekend.
We're going to do a boys' weekend.
Go to a game,
Yes.
and you're going to have him try the Reuben.
That's right.
Yeah, and
And
you have to go
Reuben's
to
one
the
of my
original.
favorite sandwiches too.
Oh, mine too, Phil. Oh my gosh! And you have to go to the original one because it was a big deal that we went to the
Yeah,
original.
it was down
one.
in that strip area.
Yeah, so Pat and Mel were like, "We're going to the original."
Yeah, it was awesome. Drank an Iron City beer. That is the quintessential Pittsburgh beer. It's kind of like the old style is in Chicago.
Yeah, it is. It's their beer.
Yeah.
This tastes like blue collar depression.
I don't know why, but I loved it so much.
Did you?
When I first texted Patrick, I was like, ooh, I don't know. Because everybody said, oh, Pittsburgh's bounced back and all this. After, when I say bounce back, I mean from the 80s when, all these steel mills were shutting down and there was just tragedy and despair all over the Rust Belt. And it has in so many ways. But when I first got there, I didn't want to admit it, but I was a touch disappointed.
Aww.
But as I stayed there longer, it kind of felt like home again, where it's like, like good enough is enough.
Yeah.
That kind of blue collar mentality.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, you somebody special? You're not special. Eat your Primanti Brothers with the French fries on it.
You felt right at home.
I did.
No one made you feel special.
I did.
You felt right at home.
I
Oh
did.
my God.
It felt like struggle, and I loved it. So I don't know. It's like it's obviously a sweet spot for me.
Yeah.
Within a few days, I was like, I could live here,
Oh, absolutely.
and you could not.
No.
So you're not going to let it happen.
I just don't want to move to a city. I mean, I just don't. And I think that the fun of Pittsburgh is Pittsburgh. Like you enjoyed what you enjoyed because you were in the city and we were staying in the city.
Yeah.
And in order to have that, you have to be there. And I just have no desire to be there. That's all. That's why I felt that way. I was like, I get it. It's a feel for sure. Like when you're there, you're in it.
Yeah.
But I was like, don't know.
I can't wait to go back in good weather. I do have a story to tell though, and that is, I decided in my quest to be full on blue collar. Do you like sauerkraut or is that white people food?
That's white people food. But it's on a Reuben though. So I
It's
do
on a
like
Reuben.
it. But not on a hot dog. I don't like it on a hot dog.
Okay, so historically, I've only eaten sauerkraut one day out of the year, and that's always New Year's Day because I feel like it brings you good luck. And I've been told that, like growing up, like people in my area. I don't know if it's an Eastern European thing or a German thing or a Polish thing or whatever, but on New Year's Day, we always had sauerkraut and pork as kids. And so it was supposed to give you good luck for the rest of the year. I can't complain. I've been pretty lucky, so it kind of works. But I have noticed this year I've had sauerkraut 2 more times other than I had sauerkraut on a hot dog at the Varsity in Atlanta.
Okay.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And then
The Varsity's a restaurant.
the Varsity is it's a cheeseburger. It's a famous restaurant on the 75, like right off the 75 in the middle of Atlanta.
We just had that like recently.
Yes. And I was feeling, because there is such a Polish presence in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
I said, you know what? I got to get some of the local cuisine, right? So I woke up. I didn't wake up. I was working, and I decided I was going to go for lunch. So I go to this place called Pierogies Plus.
Okay, he's not going to know what a pierogi is, okay?
You know what a pierogi is?
Heck yeah, man. I love
Do you like pierogies?
I love pierogies. They're like Polish ravioli.
You're from Virginia. How do you know a pierogi?
Dude,
What do you like them with?
No, first I need to know how he know. How old are you? What was your first pierogi experience? I need to hear this because you're from Virginia. How do you know pierogies?
oh man. So the area I'm in from Virginia is a big melting pot. You have a lot of different cultures in that area in the peninsula. So you have your Koreans, you have your Greeks, you have your Muslims, you have your Polish people, you have a lot of Eastern European. You have literally everybody is there in like the 7 cities in Virginia.
Phil has a Polish friend.
Continue.
But-
I need to hear this pierogi.
So I actually like them either just plain, or there's like some white sauce that you put on it. I can't remember the name of it.
Oh no! If you're purists, do just butter.
It's just butter,
Yeah, it's
and
plain,
then or actually the
What?
onions. You get the onions on top.
Sautéed onions. That's
Yeah.
disgusting. I don't like.
I love
pierogies.
pierogies.
So good.
I love
I cannot.
pierogies.
Okay, when's the last time you had a pierogi?
I mean, I buy them in the frozen packet.
You find Mrs. T's pierogies.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
it's the blue bag and the blue bag?
T's, yes, Mrs. T's
It's like
pierogies.
the Vandy camps of pierogies.
I'll buy those too.
Oh my gosh. Okay, go ahead.
Do they have pierogies?
I grew up with pierogies. We had a Polish housekeeper. She made them by hand. I've had pierogies my whole life. I'm so over pierogies.
I'm sensing militancy against
because
pierogies
everyone's
here.
like, "Oh, they're so good." I'm like, "No, they're not. Just dough with. It's just dough with mashed
stuff,
potatoes."
with stuff inside.
So go ahead, do your pierogi fan.
Filled with deliciousness.
Do your pierogi story.
Okay, so I go to this place called Pierogies Plus, right? It's one of two places. I'm not going to talk about the other one because I didn't go there, and frankly, I forget the name anyway. But I go to Pierogies Plus. It is in a very industrial area, and I pull up, and there's a line of like 8 people standing there. So I'm on my lunch break. I was hoping to head over there, maybe check out a neighborhood or two, and come back to the hotel and continue working. Mm-hmm. So it's, it's taking a minute. I mean, like they're ordering, like people are rolling up. This guy in like a $90,000 truck pulls up, and by the time he's done, he's carrying out 6 like garbage bag size of pierogies out of there because they sell them wholesale or retail or whatever. So I'm like, wow, this must be a really popular place because this guy clearly makes money and he drove all the way over here. So it's a good place, right? And I'm standing in line. As I was standing in line, I was kind of like, I'm going to get the pierogies, of course. But there's also this combo meal with kielbasa and sauerkraut. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, I'm getting old because I've had sauerkraut now 3 times in the same year.
Agreed. That is old.
It's old man food, right?
100%.
It's just bitterness and regret.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's what sauerkraut
100%.
tastes like. And I couldn't wait. So so I ordered my food and I pay my cash or what have you and devour my food. It was delicious, right? And then I'm driving around town.
Enjoying your life, living
my life.
Living your best life.
And all of a sudden I get a call from Denise and she says, you left your wallet at Pierogies Plus. And I was sitting on a bench eating and I had on my rain slicker, which is an old man word. Slicker, right?
I think so.
Is a slicker. And so I had but I don't know what happened. If I had the GoPro camera, whatever, it doesn't matter. The wallet fell out of my pocket. And some kind person was cool enough to go give it to the cashier.
Well, you spent all your cash on the pierogi, so they had no use for it.
He had no money. He had no money in there.
No, there was like $120 in there.
Was it still there?
Yeah, it was still there. So to get to the end of the story, but so I'm like on the bridge, crossing the river, going into some neighborhood, and Denise calls me and says, like, you left your wallet. What's wrong with you? And I said...
He was so overwhelmed with the pierogies, he wasn't thinking clearly.
I wasn't.
Pierogies will give you that kind of joy. Get over it, Denise.
Yeah.
Well,
someone might have taken advantage of me in that state.
Oh, well, honey, I'm glad they didn't. The funny thing, though, is I'm on the phone talking to Mel, right? Because we're planning our food weekend. Like, all we're talking about is what she's going to make, what we're going to eat, how it's going to go down, when it's going to happen. And as I'm talking to her, the phone rings. So I pull the phone away and I look at it and it's Pastor Mike from North Carolina. And I'm like, oh, I'm not answering this.
South Carolina. He's from Greenville.
Oh, sorry. Did I say North Carolina?
You
I'm
did.
So sorry. Yeah, Pastor Mike from South Carolina, Greenville, South Carolina.
So if you check out the Greenville episode, you'll know who Pastor Mike is.
Mm-hmm. He was our tour guide. And so I look at it and I'm like, oh, I'm talking to Mel. We're talking about chocolate chip cookies. I really don't want to click over and answer Pastor Mike right now. Plus, like,
why?
Well, because...
Tell him why. Tell everyone why.
I thought Pastor Mike was calling to argue with me about something, and I wasn't in the mood for it.
You thought he was going to call to argue with you. Maybe not argue with you, but maybe tell you, I don't know, something. We didn't know. But Pastor Mike, when we did his tour, was kind enough to send us out to all of the local, like all the organizations that he is a part of.
Yeah, he shared our podcast with a lot of people he knows.
And a lot of them are right-wingers. And so we may or may not have gotten into a little back and forth with some, I forget their handle on Instagram.
A book banner.
Yeah, they were like
banner.
book burners
or
something.
Yeah.
They were like, and if you're going to bring your LA ideas to Greenville, then don't come, and just nasty kind of right out of the gate. And I was like, oh, wow, okay, so how neighborly of you. Like, what kind of Christian church do you go to? And there was a little bit of back and forth.
The Westboro Baptist Church.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And so I said, don't worry, we'll let you keep your guns as long as, and I forget what I offered in return, what we wanted in return. As long as you don't burn all our books. And they were like, well, we're super right wing here, and we already have our guns, and you can't come and get them, and all that, like super, like taking me super literal, what right? Like the whole time. And I was like, dude, like lighten up. We're just joking around here. It's Instagram. Like, right. We're on Instagram.
Right.
This isn't even like 4chan or 8chan.
This isn't even real.
Yeah, it's like none of this is real, right? And so I said, oh, don't worry, you'll be, fully welcome when we have our LGBTQ barbecues and all this other stuff. And so they didn't like any of that. So then 5 days went by, and this person then decides they're going to clap back at me again. And my answer to them was, you can't quit us. You can't quit us. You, like, it's been 5 days. You haven't left this alone. Like, this is clearly bothering you,
Yeah. So when I saw Pastor Mike on the phone.
So you thought Pastor Mike was calling you.
To like say something about
like,
something.
Hey, maybe you could have handled this differently or whatever. Pastor Mike's a nice guy. He's a straight shooter.
But I just didn't want to do it.
And he's probably right. We could have handled it slightly different.
I don't think so. I think we handled it perfectly.
Now that I think about it, you're right. Yeah. I was very civil, and I kept inviting them to our gay barbecue. But anyway.
And so I didn't answer the phone. All of that to say, I didn't answer the phone, and I wanted to finish the conversation about Mel's chocolate chip cookies. So then what happens is, as I'm talking to Mel, I get a ding from a text message, and I'm like, I just want to figure out when we're eating these and when she's baking them, who is bugging me. And I look at the phone, and I'm reading it, and it says, hi, Denise, it's Pastor Mike. I'm so sorry to bother you, but I got a message from somebody at a pierogi restaurant in Pittsburgh, and James left his wallet. And I'm looking at the phone while Mel is talking, and I go, Mel, I gotta go. And she's like, oh, okay. And so
and so you call me in the car, and I did not even realize my wallet was missing.
No, because you had Pastor Mike's business card.
I had Pastor Mike's business card in my wallet.
Yes, and that's how they located him, and then he located me, and I called you.
Now, couldn't you say that could be some divine intervention? That card is in your wallet.
I said that. I said Jesus was with you.
I actually had an exchange after it was all said and done with Pastor Mike, and he said, for whatever reason, God wants us together. And I don't disagree.
I don't either. Yeah. So what happened? So you show up.
So
was your credit card still in the wallet?
So I showed up. All my credit cards were in there. My cash was still in there. I had taken $40 out that day, or something like $50. I think it was $40. And I said, you know what? I took this out this morning. Maybe it's $30. Oh my God, am I cheap? I think I'm being cheap. Anyway, whatever the case, whatever the amount was, I said, I took this out this morning. It would definitely not be here if it weren't for you. So I threw it in their tip jar.
You said there was $120 in your wallet. Now you're saying it was only $30. Which is it?
There was more money in my. I'm just saying I gave them what I took out this morning.
you cheap person.
I didn't give them the whole 120. Well, I needed it in case I needed more pierogies.
Well, let's talk about how difficult your life would have been if that wallet was gone.
We will talk about that. But first, I have to give them a proper shout out.
Yeah, do it.
Pierogies Plus in Pittsburgh. I want to say a very special thank you to the owner, Lilia Dobrochinsky. Huh?
Very nice.
Say that 10 times fast.
Authentic.
A nice Ukrainian lady who...
No, it ends in ski. She's Polish.
She's not, I think she's Ukrainian.
Dobrochinsky. It's a SKI. She's Polish, 100%.
I'm not sure.
Oh, Phil, you've been with Polish people, like around you growing up, like they all end in ski.
The skis are Polish.
I told her I don't speak Ukrainian because her
she doesn't either.
Her Facebook page is written in some other language that I don't know. So Lilia, I'm sorry. If you're Polish instead of Ukrainian,
yes,
apologies.
There's no Ukrainian woman
Nobody's talking to you right now.
Pierogies.
Taylor Gent is the other person who was the cash. I think it's Taylor Gent or Taylor Gent. Either way, both of those ladies saved me, to bring it full circle, a tremendous amount of trouble and fed me a very delicious meal that day. So hats off. Anybody who's listening, please go to Pierogies Plus in Pittsburgh and order with cash, but keep your wallet, from my friends.
Okay.
So
how were the pierogies though?
they were awesome. They were incredible. I mean,
Would
they
you
didn't
know a
last.
good pierogi from a bad one?
Yes, the dough is like chewy and.
What kind of question is
Well,
that?
would you?
Of course.
Okay, what's a bad pierogi?
It'd be like al dente or chewy. Like the dough would taste all funky and not homemade.
Yeah, or like the meat inside is like too chewy too. Yeah.
Yeah, like gnarly.
And what were these like?
Well, I didn't get the meat ones because I got the kielbasa with the sauerkraut. So
What was the dough like?
It was incredible.
Was it?
They were handmade, and the onions and butter sauce on top were. I mean, it was just. It was bathing in this stuff.
What's normally inside? Is it cream cheese? What is that
No,
inside?
it's
It's like a
potato.
potato,
Mashed
yeah, with
potato.
cheese.
With cheese. Okay.
Yeah, normally, and that's what I got.
Okay.
They were excellent. So anyway, thank you, ladies, again. You saved me a tremendous amount of trouble.
Yeah, why don't you talk about that? What would have happened if your wallet was not returned?
Well, okay, so the biggest problem would be I would just basically have to drive to my brother-in-law's house in Florida, and my trip would be over because you were getting on a plane
Yeah.
a couple days later to fly to Utah. So I would not have had my driver's license or my credit cards.
Well, you don't have credit cards. See, that's the thing too. I was thinking we only travel with debit cards because we don't have credit cards. I could have probably given you one of my debit cards, but do you think it would have worked at a hotel? Do they check?
No, you need a driver's license.
Oh,
To check
See,
in.
you know how I would have got you though?
how?
If I was a scammer? Well, now that you say you don't have any credit cards, but let's say you had some, right? I would take pictures.
Yeah.
Got your license, got
Yeah.
your address, take both sides of the car, every single card in there, and slowly make small purchases.
Let it trickle.
With your card.
Yeah.
You know, and then you wouldn't notice a $7, Pornhub subscription.
You're right, Phil. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. I would get in trouble and somebody else would be enjoying Pornhub on my dime as Denise is packing his suitcase. So, yeah, it would have been problematic. I couldn't have checked into a hotel. I could not have paid for gas except via cash.
If I gave you my credit card.
I would have had to use a credit card.
Sorry, I said credit card, debit card. You could use my debit card at the gas station. Hotel wise,
I could not have stayed anywhere.
What's worse, losing your phone or your wallet?
Ooh, that's a good question.
wow, because a phone is basically your wallet these
I think
days.
phone is worse. Don't you think? I mean,
Because you don't know no numbers.
because you can cancel.
You don't know
Yeah.
any numbers. You're absolutely right. You don't know any
like
number.
all
I don't
your
even know.
emails
I don't
on
Especially,
there.
you don't even know where you're at. Because, like, if you're in Pittsburgh, like,
Right.
oh, crap.
Yeah, I didn't even know. Like, I couldn't have found my way home.
I
when
would say
left my
phone. I don't even know Ellie's phone number, our youngest daughter's by heart, by memory. Do you know Ellie's by memory? Do you know Parker's by memory?
I know all three of the kids.
You know, you do.
And that's about as far as. Yes, I do.
I think you're just saying you do.
I filled out a lot of forms for those kids over the years. I
Okay,
know
maybe
their
you
phone
do.
numbers.
Maybe you do. I don't.
Do y'all know each other's social?
I do.
Yeah.
Oh, I know his signature so well that when he was going to the bank, when you used to have to go into the bank to deposit
Wait,
your
are you
checks.
about to incriminate yourself here?
100%.
Just about
I
to-
would say to him, they're not going to accept that signature.
She's guilty of fiduciary crimes.
Oh, look at you, Denise.
They are
you
not going to
rebel.
accept that signature. It doesn't look like your signature.
Yeah, my own signature doesn't look like mine.
Yeah. So
It would have been rough. It would have been rough.
But Phil's right. A phone is worse, I think, than a wallet. I was going to say
Agreed.
wallet, but the moment we started, the phone is worse.
Because everything's on your phone. All of your passwords, all of your everything.
You could have done Apple Pay for gas if I didn't give you a debit
I
card.
could have. Yeah.
I'm just trying to think, the hotel, how do you get around that? Oh, Airbnb. You would have been able to do Airbnb because it's
could have
all through
Airbnb.
it's all through a credit card.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I lost one of my phones. It had the pictures of my dad in his casket. And I lost it, right? Luckily, someone turned it in.
Really?
Yeah.
That never happens.
Because it was locked. So,
But don't they figure out a way to open it?
well, here's the thing. Here's the reason why that I think would save me, because it was not an iPhone.
Oh.
Oh, right.
It wasn't an iPhone.
And people really want
People
iPhones.
do not, they don't give two craps about, the
an
different
Android
phone.
or
Yeah.
Samsung,
So
yeah.
it wasn't an iPhone.
Oh, interesting.
Which is
Okay.
ironic because they have better cameras and better everything, really. But anyway.
Yeah, the smartphones do have better cameras, supposedly. But anyway, okay, so you got your wallet back.
I got my wallet back. Thank you, ladies.
Because I was leaving. I was going on
you're going to Utah.
spring break. So you really were without nothing if I had left. But I don't know. I think you could have gotten by with my credit card or just take out a ton of cash.
I could have gotten by
like
with your
enough
credit card.
cash to get you through for food and gas and then do Airbnb.
That's
We would have figured it out.
I would, yeah.
I'm crafty.
You are crafty. You sorted that out rather quickly, actually.
I worked as a personal assistant for how many years? I had to sort out so many problems.
Touche.
Yeah.
Speaking of sorting out problems, the lack of joy Denise felt in Pittsburgh was palpable for a couple of days. But one problem that got sorted out was, Phil, throw up the picture of Denise, if you would, please.
Here we go.
Look at the joy. Right now I am showing a photo of Denise at this little mini donut shop called the Original Peace, Love, and Mini Donuts. Aww. It was right there in the heart of Pittsburgh on the strip. We were there with our friends, and she was so, like, we were all talking and trying to figure out what we were going to order. And Denise just kept holding up that basket of donuts saying, guys, oh my God, this is crazy. This is amazing.
Because we walked in and they
fun.
gave you a basket. They basically said how many people are in your party, and they gave you fresh baked donuts for free.
Oh my gosh. So it was like the Texas Roadhouse peanuts?
Yes.
But donuts.
Similar.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I've never been to
Texas. It's like a little
Roadhouse.
basket of mini donuts, just a couple samplers, you know. It's like, you know, get them. It's kind of like how the drug dealers do it, you know. It's like, give them a little taste, and then they come back.
Is that how they do it?
Yeah.
Oh,
you got to
okay.
give them a little hit, and then they come back.
It worked. I was hooked. I was hooked on those donuts.
We must have spent $60
So
on donuts.
what kind of donuts were those that you had? Just regular
Those were
ones?
just regular, like, you know, the cinnamon, sugar. Like, yeah.
Those were the freebies.
Those were the freebies, but we ended up getting like a million, like, I don't know how, 14 different donuts.
Yeah.
We got like Boston cream, we got a strawberry, we got a like crazy. I got regular glazed, chocolate, you know, covered. I don't know. We got a bunch.
You can tell a lot by someone's donut. Right?
I agree.
What kind of donut do you guys like?
I'm really basic. I'm a simple person. You should know this by now. I just like chocolate covered donut. I like a glazed chocolate.
So not the cake.
No, I hate cake.
glaze.
Do not give me cake. I will return it. I will say thank you, but no thank you.
So even the cake with frosted chocolate on it?
I hate
What about
cake.
old fashions?
If I want a cake, I'd order cake. I'd go to a cake store. I'm at a donut shop.
Okay.
I want a donut.
You ever have a yeast donut?
Yes. Is that the same as the apple cider donut?
Yeah. I think,
I think I've had one.
Yeah.
I don't
We've had
know.
one. We've had them together.
Have I? Okay.
What about you, James? What's your donut of choice?
Well, at that particular place, I liked the presentation of the little Boston creams, so I had a couple of those. And what's my donut of choice? I like a chocolate old fashioned. You know what those are? Those are like kind of the ones that are a little lumpy. They are a little, but it's like a really dense cake.
It's like a sour cream cake donut.
That's it.
Have you ever? You've
just
had
a little
those.
more hearty. I like bear claws.
I do like the sour cream.
Okay, I'll do a sour cream. That's different than a cake.
Do you want to know my favorite? Take a guess.
Yes.
What's my favorite?
Okay, let me see. Because a donut does say a lot about a person.
I'm plain too, though. By the way, vanilla ice cream is my favorite. So.
Oh, you like a glazed? Are you just a glazed? Are you a glazed?
I'm a Homer Simpson. So the
Long John?
No, the Homer Simpson with the pink frosted strawberry frosted.
Oh,
donut.
the pink.
You like the strawberry frosted?
Yeah.
Those are so it's just glazed with strawberry frosting.
Yeah.
I know. See, it's simple too. See, I'm glazed with chocolate frosting.
Yep. Or I like the blueberry or
You
something.
ever have one of
blueberry's
the Rice
good.
Krispie donut, the Fruity Pebbles donuts?
I don't like when they go all crazy like voodoo donuts where they're like stacked with like bacon.
That's the one,
and
like,
peanut
right up
butter
the
and
street from
jelly.
here,
and-
right?
Yeah, I don't like those like
Oh, we like that place.
because dude, that's literally diabetes type 4.
It is. I don't do Fruity Pebble donuts just because I was never a Fruity Pebble fan.
Why are my legs purple?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're fun to look at. I mean, I don't know if I've ever really had even when I go into those crazy donut places, I'm still so boring. I still get like just a big chocolate glazed. I get a big chocolate glazed.
If they don't have chocolate old fashions, I don't get like those maple glazed ones. I like those, especially if they have like, well, I don't know. There was a time where I would do the bacon maple glazed.
You did.
Yeah, I don't really do that anymore though. I've given up the bacon.
Huh. Okay.
So, I mean, I haven't given up bacon, to be clear to everyone in our audience. But like that
On
would
the
be
donut.
insanity. Yeah, I just don't put it on the donut anymore.
I would not picture strawberry glazed for you, Phil. I would have just pictured straight glazed.
Straight glaze is always a good go-to, but strawberry frosted, it's pretty simple for me, or like the blueberry.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the blueberries can
Blueberries
be
are
good.
really good if they're done right.
What was the name of that donut place that we would drive across town for?
There's one here. Donut King is actually really good.
Donut King is amazing, but that is really far from you.
Claremont. And then they have one in...
they're one near the Villages in Leesburg, I believe.
Yeah.
Leesburg.
Yeah.
Oh, it is so good.
But that's the one I would go to.
That's far.
Well, I was driving at the hospital right there.
Okay.
So I'm like,
yeah. Donut King is amazing. Remember I came back with a bunch of donuts one day? It was from Donut King. Yeah. They're good.
Okay. Sidecar Donuts in LA.
Yes. Good memory.
That was a good place.
That was a great place.
What's the big donut in LA? Bob's?
Good question.
Randy's Donuts. Randy's Donuts. Yeah.
Y'all ever had that?
I never. Did you have Randy's when you
I've
were
had
working?
Randy's.
What'd you think of it?
They were fine, but
Tourist.
You know what? There's a lot of neighborhood donut shops that are actually more popular. Randy's was kind of a tourist thing because it was in so many movies. That donut place in Woodland Hills that was near Louisville, what was it called? Blimpies. Blimpies is very popular. A lot of the Kardashians
it is popular. I wasn't crazy for it, but
I like it. They're it's the dough, like when you chew into it, it's so soft. It's so good.
they're
Blimpies,
a little fluffy, yeah.
The Blimpies is good. Sidecar Donuts in Brentwood, I think it was. That's amazing.
Of course,
Santa Monica.
the most expensive donut place.
It wasn't really Randy's. Like nobody was like, I'm going to Randy's. That was like a touristy thing.
It was a touristy thing. It was kind of like Pink's hot dogs.
Yes.
Like you kind of had to do it. You know of Pink's, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's on
the diner style,
Barrio.
50 style.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Like Randy's Donuts is sort of that experience.
Yeah.
So, and it's close to the airport, so a lot of people hit it either going to or from the airport. 'Cause it's kind of like it's in the hoodie part, and you definitely pass sort of by that way, but you won't be hanging out there. You know what I mean? So.
You know what the craze was? You will never guess this. The craze for many years in LA, Krispy Kreme.
Really?
Yep, Krispy Kreme.
Launched, when it first came to LA.
Had to be first 3 years. People were lining up for Krispy Kreme.
Where is Krispy Kreme native to, though? Like, what state?
Atlanta, I believe.
I thought it was Florida.
Is it?
I always thought it was Florida.
Oh,
I could be wrong. Could be Atlanta.
I didn't know it was not a nationwide thing.
Not at all. And when they opened up, people were like, I'm going to be late for work. I'm going to Krispy Kreme. And I know Krispy Kreme because my parents lived in Florida for quite some time. And I was like, do not wait in line for Krispy Kreme.
Yeah, they're like, oh, the sign's on. They're hot.
Now, Krispy Kreme is good, but not to skip your job for. Like, people did that when White Castle opened here.
Where's there a White Castle?
About 20 minutes south of here.
Oh, Phil.
I love White Castle.
Same with Portillo's.
White Castle.
Where's Portillo's?
Right next to White Castle.
Now,
oh my God, we
now
gotta go.
we have
okay, now
ground.
we have to go. Okay,
now
let's go. Okay,
we can go.
All right.
You get your White Castles, I'll get my Portillo's.
Okay.
And then we'll have we'll all sit back and have a smoke.
Okay. Cigarettes.
To bring it back to Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
that was one of your big observations, and I can't let Pittsburgh go without talking about it.
People in Pittsburgh like to smoke.
Stress.
Oh, wow. I guess so. If it's a like hard come at you kind of place, then people have stress and they're smoking.
I mean, they start smoking when they're 6 years old. So
Okay. Do either one of you probably know. Do you know, Phil, how much a pack of cigarettes are? Don't look it up.
$6.79.
Close. You do know, so I'm not going to ask you.
I'm looking right at it.
It's $10 a pack.
What?
A carton is $100.
Yeah.
What?
And that was at the Ratchet.
Why am I
store
selling?
right
why am I
near
doing
our hotel.
podcasts? I need to be selling some cigarettes. Damn.
You do.
$100 for one carton, which has, I think, six packs of smokes in them, right?
And now you know why the kids don't
No,
have
10
milk.
Is it 10 packs of smokes? Wait.
I think it's 10.
Yeah, right? Because I'm saying 6 and it'd be $60. No, it's 10 for sure for a carton.
Jeez. And I don't know how much people smoke, so I'm not a smoker.
They smoke a lot in Pittsburgh.
Do you
Everywhere we
smoke
went.
a pack a day? Or
A lot of people seemed like pack-a-dayers. Yeah. There was always a group of people just standing outside a restaurant. It's so foreign because there are so many places in America where that has just fallen by the wayside. But I would say
They're holding hard.
Youngstown, Ohio, and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, holding strong.
They are.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's definitely a pack of Marlboros or Winstons rolled up in your sleeve kind of town.
Were you guys a fan of the Christopher Nolan Batman movies?
Yes.
Of course.
So did you know The Dark Knight Rises was shot in Pittsburgh.
Hines Ward is in the movie. Oh. Hines Ward, the running back for the Pittsburgh. Remember, he's running and the field is like being decimated behind him.
Yes.
In that scene. Yeah. That was all CGI done at
I
Heinz
did
Field.
not know that. I know a lot of it was shot in Chicago. I know some of it was shot in LA. I had no idea Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Was any of it shot?
That was a bridge they blew up.
It was
right?
It was a second movie, right?
No, Dark Knight Rises on Bane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Was the Heinz building part of that movie?
The stadium, yeah.
No. The building, the museum, Heinz factory, was that part of the movie?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Wow. I did not know that Pittsburgh was in that movie.
Yeah.
We're huge Christopher Nolan fans.
Yeah, he's like my second favorite director.
Who's your first?
David Ayer.
I don't know who that is. Wait, hold on.
You probably do. And I probably do.
He makes a bunch of like mediocre movies, but I like them.
What are they?
Like End of Watch.
Oh, that's a good
Oh
movie.
yeah, that was a really good movie.
That's
with
like one of my favorite
Jake
movies.
Gyllenhaal. Yeah, it was a very good movie.
He makes all of those. He did Training
Okay.
Day with him and what was it, Fuqua?
Antoine Fuqua, yeah.
Yeah, he was part of that team.
Oh,
he did Street
okay.
Kings with Keanu Reeves. Like
That's
he does,
a good movie.
He
That's a
does
good
those type of movies. I like
Okay.
David Ayer.
Okay.
Okay.
Christopher Nolan's my second favorite.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Groovy.
I like Sam Raimi and
You
Christopher
do
Nolan.
like Sam Raimi.
I do.
Everything he does.
Yeah.
So did you like Doctor Strange too?
Okay, so that is the one where I wasn't a huge Doctor Strange fan, so I didn't watch either one.
Either one?
I know, I'm sorry. I'd watched every Marvel movie. There was just something about I don't really care for that actor. I think that's what turns me off. But I loved him in Civil War, right? Wasn't he? He was in Civil War. What was the one that he was in? Endgame. I really liked him in that movie, so I thought I should probably give it a chance and watch his own movie. I just never did it.
As a kid, I never got into the wizards and all, like any of those superheroes that were kind of like magical powers and all that. I like the guys that like knocked people out and slammed people around, like the Incredible Hulk
was
and
my
Batman
favorite.
and stuff.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man,
Yeah.
simple that way.
Anyway.
So that's it. If you want to go smoke in Pittsburgh, then have at it.
Go ahead. You'll find a smoking partner probably fairly easy.
But I did want to talk to you because we were talking about social media a little while ago.
Oh yeah, and how everyone was coming after you, Pastor Mike's.
Yes, and it reminded me of a particular clip that Denise posted from when we were on your show. Phil, the Gen to Gen podcast. And Denise had a little bit to say about adult gamers.
I did. Phil, do you remember I texted you and I said, oh man, all these kids.
They're coming after me.
They're coming after me. I literally texted Phil and I said, they're coming after me. So this happens once in a while where I'll do a short on YouTube. And YouTube is the most interactive that we have found for our podcast. I get some clapback on Instagram, but man, they come hard on YouTube. They come so hard on YouTube that I need backup. And I will literally come to James and say to him, you need to help me. That's what I'll say. I cannot handle it. It's almost like I feel like I'm being attacked by gremlins and I'm like, and I need like someone to help me.
She's like a ninja. She's in the Matrix and the Mr. Smiths are all coming at her.
And James is extremely witty. And we try to be really fun.
Thank you.
It's true. You're really witty. And we try to be fun with our comments. I mean, some people are really obnoxious. Like, I cannot tell you how many people said I was ugly and old. And it was like laughable because
she's neither.
That's very sweet. But I really was not bothered by that. Like James, I think even said, he's like, someone called you 80. He's like, somebody said, take this 80-year-old woman out of here. And I just couldn't stop. I legitimately could not stop laughing because look, like beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So someone's ugly is someone else's beautiful. Old is also very subjective. Like if you're 32, you think a 45-year-old is ancient. So yes, so if you're 20 and you're looking at me, clearly I look old to you. Now, if they had called me fat, I would have been curled up in a fetal position and crying on the floor. But old and ugly, I didn't care about.
Well, especially during that time because you were fighting with your nutritionist.
I was. So
you have frame grabs. Let's see a couple.
Oh yeah, let's pull it up. So, Oh God, these are so good. Okay, so
but for those of you who missed it on social media, Denise was especially scathing toward grown men playing video games at the detriment. Is it detriment? Is that the word?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, at the detriment of their family's income or growth or what have you. And all of a sudden, you would never know it, Phil, but there are plenty of millionaires out there who play games 16 hours a day, and they see nothing wrong with it, according to the commenters.
I don't know about that, though.
Yeah. I mean, they were. Oh, we have 12,000 views on this one short. 185 comments.
Yeah,
I mean, half of them are obviously James. So let's say 90 comments or whatever. It's insane. So here's just a couple. Here's just a few. Women are okay spending an entire Saturday doing her hobbies and watching rom-coms. But if you want 6 hours on the PS5, it's a crime. And then I needed help with some of these because I couldn't handle them all. James's reply, you should be building your lady a she shed. I got to go to the one that was my favorite. Okay, this was so good. So the short, for any of you, let me explain real quick. The short is me saying that I would never date somebody as an adult who played video games. And Tiandra, Phil's co-host, asked me, what age is the cutoff? Like, what age do you feel is a cutoff for men playing video games? And I said 18. I said, after that, get a job. And Phil and I went back and forth, and Phil was like, what? I can't. And so then I said, I just wouldn't date you. Okay, here's a comment. She should have been married decades ago. She too old to be dating. So I responded with, be nice to your elders. And then he replied, she should be nicer to gamer bros. I mean, they just came at. And then somebody wrote, we wouldn't date you either. And so then that was one. And then, oh my God, some were like crazy. Here's one. Horrible advice saying that, I said you should stop playing at 18.
Right.
My wife never wonders where I am. I'm not out effing other women. I'm at home on a game with the boys getting dubs. And I replied, you sound like the perfect guy. Okay, somebody said, you're also a 4 out of 10, so maybe you should lower your standards.
Oh, my God.
And so then James replied, he goes, and what does your 50-year-old mom look like?
There you go.
This was awesome. This made me laugh out loud. Literally, why is an 80-year-old woman talking about dating guys at game? And James replied, oh my God, you are too funny. Now go brush your teeth, little Petey. That's enough iPad for today.
I forgot about that one. That was a good one.
Okay, this one. She looks like she never dated anyone. She's 60 and dresses like a gamer. First of all,
you had your sweater on.
Yeah,
what was the name of that brand you were wearing?
Oh, I was wearing
with the pink Thunderbolt.
Yeah, it's Aviator Nation.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I had that on with like faux leather pants, and so I'm like, what does a gamer even dress like? And then James goes, in a strange way, we think you just complimented her. This was the best. This topped them all. Beep. We do it on our own time. And I go, oh my God, perfect boyfriend ever. It really actually brought me so much humor and pleasure and joy in like looking at this because I was going through such a difficult time.
We haven't talked about this yet.
Yeah. So my mom passed away a couple of days ago, and it was a very hard time. It was a long week. And for me to get any kind of reprieve from what we were going through, I went to those comments because that was the only thing that would make me laugh. We would be in the room together, James and I, sitting with my mom, and I would look at him and go, someone just said I'm 80 years old. And we would just start laughing. And I'm like, I can't. I'm like, this is the only thing that's like bringing me any kind of comic relief. So, yeah, they came hard at me. Guys who game don't like to be told they're losers.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
There were plenty of intelligent, articulate comments where people actually explained, I do it here or I do it there and whatever. And I agree, your priority should be what have you or whatever.
There were two.
But once there were only two out of 190.
Yeah, there were only two. And then there was like one girl that was like, I agree with her. Yeah, it was, They came at me hard. And I thank you for your backup because you're so good. Like you give them such good answers. I mean, I come back with funny stuff, but sometimes it's lighthearted. I mean, look, we got a lot of subscribers from that. And I think some of the people that were bantering with us actually subscribed.
Yeah. We got a handful of people.
Yeah, we did.
I think it definitely helps me that I work with Gen Zers on Slack on our jobs and everything. I get to see their vernacular. Like,
you do.
Definitely.
There were things
plus the kids talk to me that way. It was funny.
It was really, yeah. So that was, so thanks all you guys.
Yeah. Thanks for boosting our algorithm and helping Denise deal with the passing of her mother. Like together, we're all in this together.
It was a win-win.
Yeah, it was.
And if I was even a bit insecure or sensitive, it would have been horrible. Thank God I'm thick-skinned.
It is funny.
Thank God.
I know. It is funny because there are those ladies, like different ladies with podcasts of a certain age or whatever, and they, when they read their comments and they're getting nailed. It's funny. Women your age and above, they get a lot of glee out of it. It's weird. It's like how the whole thing shifts. I guess it's just because you're like, honey, I've heard it all.
I don't care. It's like, again, it's all relative. Like a 30-year-old kid definitely thinks a 45-year-old person is ancient. So I'm like, you didn't get me there.
Some of those kids are probably like 15 years old. I mean, come on, we're coming at you. So
maybe, yeah. Yeah,
they're bored.
It was fun.
They were in between games.
So yeah,
they needed to get at you.
They did. Like, what did she just say? What did? Anyway, yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for Pittsburgh. Yes.
Yes.
You good on Pittsburgh?
I'm great.
Could you live there?
No, but I'll go visit Mel again.
Okay, sounds good. I look forward to it. Everybody have a good week. I could live in Pittsburgh totally. Talk to you guys later. Take them out.
Empty nest, full tank.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.